new YouTube page. We're going to do adventures. Today we are geocaching. I'm doing an intro and an outro back to back because we didn't do an intro, so we're doing it now. We're going to find things out along the way, like my cameras sucked, so we're using a phone now. But we're going to do a bunch of different stuff. We're just two idiots. I'm Jason, that's Brian. That's a car going by. So hope you like it. Subscribe, like, thumbs up, comments, notifications, everything. All right, so as I said in the intro, camera sucked, couldn't get much audio, so I'm going to be narrating all of this for us. So I apologize. We are going to do better next time. But we're at our first location here. And you can see I'm walking behind here. Brian is behind me with the GPS. So I honestly have no clue what I'm looking for right now. I'm just kind of moseying around. But you can see we're here by this barn. I'm assuming that it is in this pile somewhere. So that's kind of where I'm going and looking. And I have never been geocaching. This was my first time. Brian had done it a few times, so I wasn't exactly even sure what I was looking for, to be honest. Brian then notices on the GPS that we're off, so we start walking back this way. And it's right about now that Brian's like, oh, there it is. So we had walked right past it, and there you can see it. Brian's going to go ahead and get that opened up. We'll let you see what's inside. Pretty neat for especially my first geocache. It was a pretty good find. Once he gets it open here, you'll see there's some instructions. There was a little riddle as far as how to open the padlock. Brian did know the answer, but as we started looking at it, the lock was actually unlocked anyways. So you'll see here in a minute where it's pretty much unlocked. Brian has a little bit of trouble, so he hands it off to me. Now he can remove the lock that's already unlocked. And we'll go ahead and open this up and show you what's inside. At that point, I actually asked Brian if he knew what the answer was, and he said yes. And it was a good thing because had it been locked, I wouldn't have known the answer. So here's what we get inside. A pretty decent find. He'll pull some stuff out here. You can see what it is. A little Spider-Man. That's the sign-in book. There was actually a free drink to it, to the Wattsburg Eagles. It is still there, so if you're a geocacher and you want a free drink, it's still in there. A couple quarters. And just a bunch of other little figurines and stuff. There was a little, I don't know what to call it, like a, here Brian's going to show it now, with a little saying on it. It says, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Brian does end up keeping that later. That's what he takes with him after we put it back. He's going to go ahead and sign everything, and then we will cut to us putting it back together. So at this point, Brian was signing it. He noticed that the last person that found it was actually just there a couple days before us. So kind of neat that it is a pretty active site. People are there quite often. And in fact, the next couple that we find, same person signed, so we basically followed their tracks like I said, Brian's just signing that paper. I didn't realize I didn't cut this video short enough probably, but I'll tell you now just kind of what we're doing. New channel. We're going to do some exploring. This time we did some geocaching. We plan to go explore some abandoned buildings, just a bunch of different stuff. Just as it says, just two idiots that are going to go do whatever the heck we feel like doing and bring a camera along with us. So I believe that's where Brian decides he's going to keep that little gemstone with a saying on it. I was kind of searching and I didn't feel like keeping anything. So at this point now we're going to walk back to the car and we'll be on to our next location. And if you were able to hear the audio here, I was basically talking about what this channel is going to do, which is what I just did previously. So again, pretty good find, especially for my first geocache. I thought it was pretty cool. Now, some of the ones coming up, I don't really understand. You know, you just find something and there's nothing there but basically sign a paper. But I guess the fun is the hunt, so I won't complain too much. So here we're going to get into the car. I'm going to show you a little shot of the GPS. Kind of show you how we find where we're going. It's not the best picture due to the camera, but basically you hit navigate. That's going to tell you right where the next one is. Now if you're driving, it doesn't give you driving directions. It just gives you a straight line as if you were walking, so you kind of have to navigate yourself a little bit. But we do go on to the next one here, and the next one was a pretty easy find. Brian found it fairly quick, and we'll be jumping to that here real quick. So here we're getting out. Now this one, again, being my first geocache, I wasn't even sure what we were looking for. I thought that it was going to be like in the woods or something like that. Brian informed me that no, typically if you're like this, they're on a guardrail, so they're either something tucked in behind something, or in this case, it was actually magnetic. If you're familiar with geocache, there's hints in there, and it did say magnetic, so we knew to look on the guardrail somewhere for it. And Brian does end up finding it fairly quick. And unfortunately, being new to it, I was, even the filming, I had a cheap generic GoPro, and I had it on my chest, and I wasn't exactly sure, you know, the camera angle. So some of these shots aren't the best because, again, it's just attached to my chest. I did my best to cut out a lot of the nonsense that you really don't want to see. Here you can see I'm looking down trying to find it, not knowing really what I'm looking for. And then that's when Brian basically just reaches in and says, it's right here. So there you see Brian finding it. And this one was basically like a hide-a-key. So it's just magnetic, stick it right to the back of the guardrail. And then you open it up to see what the prize is. And I don't think there was anything in it, just the sign-in sheet. And then Brian realizes that, oh, I forgot my pen. I'm going to spare you that footage of him basically walking back to the car, getting his pen. Oh, I think there was a penny in there. So yeah, he's going to walk back to the car. We'll cut right back. He's back. He decided to put that back in there that he took from the last geocache. And so he's going to leave that there for the next person to find. And we'll go ahead and put this back together. And again, I apologize that I have to narrate this. We do get to a point where I start using my phone because literally the cameras that I had didn't last long at all. I'm still messing with them to see if it was just that they weren't fully charged or if that's just how they're going to be. I also found out why there was no audio, or not good audio. So next time we do it, I may use these cameras again. We may just go right to my phone. So here we are getting back in the car, and we'll be on to our next location, which wasn't far down the road actually. So we just take a quick little hop and skip, and we're at the next one. Now this one took us a little bit. Brian actually gave me the GPS at this point to try and find it. And it was showing right in the middle of the road, so we weren't real sure which side it was on. There were no hints, so here you can see me just kind of looking now that I kind of know what I'm looking for. We also saw, as we're looking, as I said, people were just there a couple days before, so I saw spots where grass was patted down, where they had been looking too. So I kind of went to those places first, assuming that, well, if somebody was just here and they were looking, I'm going to go to the places that they were looking at. You'll see that in a minute here. I'm going to go across the road, and this will be the first place that I look. And this video is the first spot where my camera dies, and we'll see that at some point. So then I get out the second one for the rest of it, and that doesn't last very long, and then we switch to the phone. So once we switch to the phone, I won't have to narrate. But here you see me searching some more. Not having any luck finding anything, kind of reaching under there to see if there's a magnet, looking to see if there's anything tucked underneath. I think this is where I decided, we're going to check and see the other side. So we go to the other side. I look a little bit. Brian actually found it, didn't say anything. And luckily I looked in the same spot he did and ended up finding it. So it's not there. I'm like, I don't know where this could be. And then coming up here shortly is actually where the camera dies. So you'll see that in a minute. And right there is where I found it, and then the camera dies. So we're back in the car. This was me testing to see, was it that I just shut it off somehow, or did it die? So we're driving to the next location. And just so you know, that last one, and then here's where the camera dies again. The last one was another one that was just a paper to sign, and that was it. So here we are approaching our next location, which is actually at the Union City Dam. This was by far the most fun, because we got to actually hike into the woods a little bit. So here we're actually just kind of telling a little bit of the history of the dam. We actually might get into that a little bit more on the next one. We may go explore the dam some and just give you some history. So here we are, we're kind of arguing over where we're going to park. I think I finally won. So we're getting out. I've got the GPS again. Now this one, the hint was, well, it was Woody's stump. So we knew we were looking for a stump. Well, as you can imagine, you go into the woods, there's a lot of stumps, but you'll see early on when we get into the woods here, you'll see me point a little bit, and Brian, literally every stump he sees, says, there's a stump, there's a stump, there's a stump. I have the GPS though, so I know. Now here in just a second here, I'm going to turn right in the middle of the screen here, and I'm going to freeze it for us. There's actually a squirrel, or I think it was a chipmunk actually, and he stops and just kind of looks at us, and he just hangs out there for a little bit. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it. It's literally right in the middle of your screen here though, right there, and I'm going to pause it right now. It's right in the middle, and then when I come back here, you'll see it'll run away real quick. But little chipmunk, it was kind of cool. And I believe it's going to run here. There it goes. And now we're off. Like I said, this was by far the most interesting, just because we got to actually hike into the woods a little bit, showing you a little bit of the backside of the dam. And I will, there's a spot in here where I go show you the dam a little bit, but again, because the camera's on my chest, I didn't quite get a good picture. So we did take a picture, and that'll be posted in here as well. But basically here, I'm just following the GPS and looking for a stump, basically, and going from there. So Brian's behind me, again, pointing out every single stump, because we're idiots. But you can see here, I'm walking And there wasn't a lot of, I thought maybe there would be like a beaten path that, you know, we thought maybe those people that were geocaching the other ones would have been here, but there wasn't. Um, so in just a second here, you'll see where I approach the tree that it's behind actually. So as I'm walking up, so I saw that stump, thought, maybe, no, it wasn't that stump. So that tree right there that kind of goes into a peace sign almost, you know, two trees going up at once. It's actually right behind there, but I didn't even realize it till I'm walking up. I'm like, well, there's no stump around here. Come around the corner and, oh, there it is. And you'll see here in a minute when I bend down and show you. There it is. Now Brian comes up and he's like, but there's no stump there. Why would it say Woody stump? There's no stump there. You're going to see me point. There's a stump right there, Brian. There. Right there's the stump. Idiot. So now you're going to see how much of an idiot I am, and I can't figure out how to open this thing up. What? It's not, it won't. Come on. What's going on? Well, you know, you got to just pull it. There you go, idiot. So here we'll show you a little bit of what's in there. I hand Brian the sign-in sheet. So there's actually a business card from Timberland Bait Shop. Real nice place. If you've never been there, go check it out. We may go do a video down there. We may have to contact him and see if he'll let me come down and just do a video. Somebody left a powdered drink pouch, so if you were thirsty and had some water with you. I actually made a joke here and said, hey, we found our first bullet. It's a foam bullet, but it's a bullet. Some Burt's Bees chapstick. Now, this was a receipt. You're not going to be able to really see it. And I was like, didn't understand it, but then the receipt was for bird seed. So I'm assuming either they just left it there as trash or they bought bird seed and spread some bird seed for the birds and wanted to leave the receipt there for people to see. So I'm not exactly sure. There was a twisted tea cap. And then just like some change. Nothing spectacular. I don't believe we kept anything out of that one. Brian might have taken some change or something. I don't remember exactly. We didn't want to take too much if we didn't have anything to leave. And we really didn't have, we weren't prepared to leave stuff, so. And then you'll see when we put this back, I actually am still an idiot and took me a couple seconds to even figure out how to shut it. Again, we don't lie, we're just two idiots. So this one, when we're done here, and it's going to end here in a minute, you're going to see me just putting it back together. We go to another site that's just shortly off here. Now, Brian didn't upgrade his app. So some of the things didn't give us any GPS or anything. It just said this is where it is, doesn't give you any directions. So we went to another one, and you're going to see that coming up shortly. This is where I show you the backside of the dam. But when we go to that site, it's just going to be real quick because then my camera, or no, that one is not where the camera dies. I apologize, but you'll see on the next one, we just searched real quick by this tree and decided not to look too long because we didn't have GPS or any hints in it to really tell us what we were looking for. And we'll explain at the outro what we plan to do. Now here's a picture of the backside of the dam. We were just off to the right there, down in those trees. And I just want to show everybody kind of what it looks like there. So here we are at the next location. Brian actually backs up because he went past it a little bit. But this is still at the dam, and we assumed it was probably like by this tree here. So we went up and looked real quick. We didn't spend a lot of time because, again, we didn't have any hints. We didn't have directions on how to get to it. We just had a little dot that said it was there. So we didn't want to waste a ton of time. There's a chance it could have been back in that little pathway. Brian's saying he thinks it's right at this tree, so we just kind of looked around real quick. Didn't see much. So either it's not there anymore, we weren't looking in the right spot, or it might have just been a wave point that doesn't have anything there. So you see Brian looked up in the tree a little bit. There's a little path back there. I was going to walk back there, but he's showing me that no, it says it's right here if it's accurate. So we basically decide to head on to our next spot. So we're at our next spot, and here I'm going to spare you a lot of time because it was a lot of searching around and couldn't find much, but there's actually an Amish buggy down there. Again, you can't probably see it, it's right towards the middle of the screen, but there was an Amish buggy down there. Just thought that was kind of interesting. And you'll see we walk up here, and I was trying to get a shot of the Amishman was actually on the other side of the bridge down in the creek fishing. When we walk up here, we can see him, but I didn't bend over enough for my camera to capture him. But you will get a shot of the creek at least real quick. And then I believe I'm going to cut right to where we find it. Now this one was completely saturated, so we couldn't even sign it. It did take us a while to find it. We were walking around quite a bit on this bridge trying to find it. So, but coming up here, we're going to stop, and like I said, I'll lean over the edge slightly and tried to get a shot of the Amishman fishing, but I didn't get him. He was right down there fishing though. And here we'll cut to where we find it. And again, I open it up and it's just completely saturated. So we just put it right back in and went on to the next one. If we'd had any paper or anything, we probably would have replaced it, but as soon as I opened it and I went to take it out, I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna just tear apart. Not sure how it happened. I mean, it was sealed in plastic and in another waterproof container, so I'm not quite sure how that happened. But here you'll see, this is where I believe we're gonna get back in. Yeah, so we're at the next location here. And this is where my phone dies again. Or not my phone, my camera dies right here. Now we're at Tops Parking Lot in Union City trying to find one. This is one that Brian had been trying to find for a while, couldn't find it. We were there for quite a while. We did end up finding it, and when I cut back in here, we're going to be on my phone, and I will no longer need to narrate. So enjoy. There's rigging. So we're back. Both my cameras have died. We did find the one at Tops. It was in that corner there. Brian found it. It's actually a micro, not a box, which was half the problem. But there was a little ball full of some change, and we're gonna leave something special in there.
Our fake Lego ray gun.
Yeah, it looks like a Lego gun at first, and then when you start looking at it, it was a plastic clip that broke, but you know. So everything from now on will be shot from my phone. We are gonna shoot an intro at some point. I'm gonna let you guys see me. So apparently either these weren't charged very good or they don't hold much charge. I'll be honest, they were cheap. They were from Temu, so they were Chinese, so I mean, whatever. I will test them again before we do another one and either buy some good ones or just use a phone. I was saying, and I didn't realize the camera was off, that we are still going to do an intro at some point. We may do it at the next one before we find it, but there's Brian. We're the two idiots. Around. We'll watch Brian put that back in there. How about some of that wise wisdom? I know you got a bunch of wisdom, Brian.
What's that?
Wisdom. Give us some wisdom.
Oh, put him on the spot. Hang on a second.
He's gonna think, you see, now he's like, oh man, I need something really wise to say.
Oh my gosh, my mind's blank.
Well, we'll try again at the next stop.
All right.
All right. We're at our next spot here.
Dogfish. Got the pen.
Brian's navigating.
I've got the pen.
I'm navigating. I think it might actually be back there. It's showing back behind there.
Back there?
Yeah.
You got it. You take it.
Yeah, it's actually showing back. All right, it's showing through this little. I almost fell, guys. I don't know if you could tell on camera. Actually, I kind of did fall, but am I getting close?
There's a bag of something. Still going.
I think it's up here. Brian's gonna have to tell me if I need to stop. I have a feeling there's a little break up in here, and I think that's where it is. How close are we?
Straight ahead. Through this rock. Through this rock. Through here. What kind is it? Any hints?
There was no hints, and it's a micro.
That's a micro. All right.
I mean, it could be on that guardrail, but it's showing back here.
Check some comments. Bunch of people found it there in the eclipse. Easy find with coordinates right on the money. Nice quick one.
Well, if the coordinates are right on the money.
Close that. Scoop this rock up.
There's another rock over here, too. I'm gonna look at this one. Oh, he's over there.
Yeah, my thing's just moving. Not even walking. Instead of pulling loop all the way around it, standing still. It just went, whoop, there it goes again. I'm not even reacting. Just went, whoop, whoop, whoop.
So we're not sure where it's at.
Check the guardrail.
Yeah, we'll check the guardrail real quick and just see if these were off. I can't imagine it would, it'd be back here any farther. I mean, there are some paths through here, but the last time somebody found it, though, was the eclipse, so we're not going to probably see. And we have two more that we're going to find after this one, and then that's it. One of them is actually by my house. gonna try not to slip and fall again. Did you see anything? Or? We're gonna walk back down here. At least we know right about where it was. The last person said the coordinates were dead on, so and this is going to be too far down, I think.
Down there, but
Yeah, it's probably back in there too far back where we don't really want to go, so we'll mark this one down to come look for another time.
I'm gonna go hiking.
Yeah. The next one we have to find is kind of a hike. I don't know if we're going to do it or not. Brian's going to pick up some garbage, do our good deed. We'll be back with you on the next one here.
Country Road 393.
We're at the next one here that I'm going to assume is in this guardrail somewhere, but Brian's pulling up the map here real quick. Unless it's on that stop sign there, but what's that showing? What are the hints? Anything?
This is a traditional cache. Everyone sees. Check the hint wall.
Huh?
Last on in October 27th. Quiet road so close to visitor. I think it was a quick find.
I don't see anything. No. Well, and I'm wondering, the guardrail up here is a little bent. And I'm wondering if it was here and fell or something. I think we're too far up here, aren't we?
Nope. Yeah.
Maybe it's farther down there. I don't see anything. I have a feeling it was right there, and it's probably gone because somebody hit the guardrail. That's going to be my guess on that one. You guys can just kind of drop what you think. Brian's looking one more time here.
Probably gone.
That's what I'm thinking. Like I said, you can see where the guardrail was hit and broke away. All right, that's it for today. We did some geocaching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Like 50-50 on our finds.
50-50, yeah, a couple of them. Brian's gonna have to like upgrade his maps. which we figured it out what we're going to do. Every time there's money, we're going to pull like a quarter or something out, and once we have enough money, then we'll do the upgrade.
Use that for the upgrade. So we're actually like professional geocachers now.
Yeah, we made money on it. As long as you make money, you're a professional. So again, subscribe, like, thumbs up, comment, hit the notification bell. If you like it, let us know. If you want to see us do other stuff, we're going to be doing some abandoned buildings, other stuff. Hopefully some magnet fishing at some point when Brian finds his magnet. But for now, that's it. We're just two idiots.